Archangel Michael is looking at you this very second, and he feels something that very few souls have managed to awaken in him throughout history. Admiration. Yes, admiration. You have spent years fighting invisible forces, carrying weights that no one saw, winning battles that no one applauded, crying in silence inside the bathroom while pretending to be whole in the living room. And while the world called you weak, lost, too tired, the celestial warrior was on the other side of reality, observing a truth that you have not yet seen. Your inner strength has already overcome the obstacle. You just haven't realized yet that you have won. There is a secret sealed for centuries, a key that unites the law of assumption, the living presence of the archangels, and the quantum physics of the heart. And when you finally understand what is happening in your electromagnetic field at this very instant, you will never pray the same way again, because you do not attract what you want. You attract what you feel you already are. You do not receive a miracle by praying outward. You receive a miracle by occupying the state of consciousness of the victory that has already happened. And that is exactly where Archangel Michael approaches, not from your plea, not from your fear, not from your crying on your knees. He approaches your strength, your silent decision to continue, your persistence in getting up when no one is looking. I know what you are feeling right now. That exhaustion that comes from trying and trying and trying again, that sleepless night thinking about the bills, the relationship that has grown cold, the child who has drifted away, the healing that seems not to come, that strange feeling that the sky has closed, that God seems distant, that you have done everything right, and life insists on returning the same scenario. But today I have come to reveal to you why this is happening, what is the silent error that is nullifying your manifestation, and why Archangel Michael is about to manifest in your life in a way that will change everything. Stay until the end. I'm going to give you a nightly reprogramming technique that the ancient masters called the bridge of incidents, and it will take you, once and for all, out of the place where you are trapped. That is why I prepared the powerful digital book for you, and I need to warn you now without beating around the bush, because your intuition is tightening in your chest at this moment for a reason. There is a silent movement happening in your life in recent months, you have noticed. Different dreams, repeated thoughts about protecting your family, a restlessness that has no name. These are signs that your soul is being led to a spiritual turning point. And few souls manage to read these signs in time, most let them pass, but you are here. The book is called How to Know If You Are Saved at Judgment Day, and it provides the exact map of the signs that show you are being shielded for a greater mission. Hundreds of mothers have written to me saying that upon holding it in their hands, they felt a chill on the back of their necks, as if Archangel Michael himself had confirmed the hour. The link is pinned at the top of the comments and in the description. This material may be taken down at any moment. Those who are called must answer. If you felt that chill, write Amen down below. It is your decree of acceptance. Now follow me. Because there is a technical detail that changes everything in the law of assumption, and it has a direct connection to the presence of the Archangel Michael in your life. Most people try to manifest from a place of lack. They say, I want, but want is a confession of not having. Every time you repeat, I want money, I want love, I want healing, you are energetically reinforcing the state of not having. The subconscious is literal. It does not translate desire, it copies the state. That is why the key lies in occupying the state of the wish fulfilled, in feeling what it is like to be the person who already has, in falling asleep with the physical sensation of gratitude for what has already happened, even if, in the eyes of the world, nothing has happened yet. Neville Goddard called this the fourth dimension, a space of consciousness where time folds, where that which you imagine with sustained feeling becomes the pre-mold of what will manifest on the timeline of the physical world, and this fourth dimension is the territory where the archangels move. It is there that the Archangel Michael stands guard while you rewrite the script of your life. But I need to warn you about something that few people have the courage to say. Rewriting your script will hurt, not physical pain, but the pain of the old identity dying. Because the old self, the one that got used to being a victim of circumstances, the one that identified with lack, with trauma, with the family history of suffering, it will resist. It will pull you back. It will offer you thoughts of defeat disguised as realism. It will tell you, why dream, why try, this will never happen to you. And it is at this moment that the second secret comes in, the inner talk. That silent conversation you have inside your head all day long. Neville said that if you want to know where your life is going, just listen to what you say to yourself when no one is watching. And it is precisely here that many people get stuck. That is why I remind you, the book How to Know If You Are Saved at Judgment Day was made for this exact moment in your life, to shield you and your family now, while the window is still open. The link is at the top of the comments and in the description. Don't leave it for tomorrow. Those who hear the call and delay miss the right time. Answer now. Imagine a woman named Mary, 42 years old, living in Chicago, separated for 3 years, raising 2 children alone, 3 months behind on rent. Every night she prayed on her knees asking for a miracle, and every morning she woke up with the same tightness in her chest, saying to herself, God, why have you forgotten me? Why me? Why this life with me? She prayed outwardly, but her inner talk continued to decree abandonment. The day she learned to shift her frequency was the day everything changed. She began to fall asleep saying, I am cared for, I am loved, I am provided for, not as an empty affirmation, as a deep feeling, as if it were already a physical truth. In 21 days, she received a remote job offer from a company in New York, with a salary 3 times higher than her previous one. And 2 weeks later, she ran into a man she had known in her teens, now a widower, and the two began a relationship in a way she had never experienced before. This is the power of the state of consciousness. This is the territory of the Archangel Michael. Now breathe again, because this next part is what will separate you from everything you've ever heard about manifestation. I'm going to teach you the bridge of incidents, and this is exactly where many people go wrong. The bridge of incidents is a technique created by Neville Goddard, which starts from the principle that the reality you want to manifest needs a logical sequence of events to materialize. You don't wake up out of the blue with a healed relationship. You don't just randomly receive a check falling from the sky without any intermediate door. There is a bridge, a sequence of small incidents that lead you from your current state of consciousness to the desired one. And what you do on the bridge of incidents is exactly this. You sit down, close your eyes, and instead of imagining the end result, you imagine the scene immediately following the miracle having already occurred. The scene where you are telling someone what happened, the scene where you open the envelope, the scene where you hear that person's voice apologizing, the scene where the doctor says the tests came back clean, not the scene of the miracle itself, the scene of someone who has already lived the miracle. Because the subconscious enters a logical collapse when you give it the final scene, but it accepts it without resistance when you give it the subsequent scene, because it assumes that if this scene exists, then the miracle must necessarily have already happened. You thus create within your own subconscious the bridge of incidents that the material world will need to materialize so that this subsequent scene becomes real. This is advanced. This is surgical. This is exactly what differentiates the common practitioner from the master of consciousness. And it is exactly what Archangel Michael admires in you, because he sees who uses their mind to surrender to faith, and he sees who uses their mind to construct reality through faith. Both paths are valid, but the second is the warrior's path. And you are a warrior, even on the days when you doubted it. There is a very specific obstacle on this path, because it is here that 90% of people stumble. The obstacle is persistence, or rather, the lack of it. Neville Goddard was categorical. He said that what kills manifestation is not occasional doubt, it is the lack of persistence in the new state. You manage to spend 10 minutes feeling the victory, but then you look at your bank balance and you plummet. You manage a whole morning feeling loved, but at night your ex calls and you fall back into old resentment. You manage 3 days feeling healed, but on the 4th day a twinge in your body throws you back into fear, and then you doubt. And when you doubt, the state breaks. And when the state breaks, the bridge of incidents collapses. And when the bridge collapses, the miracle that was 3 days away from materializing simply dissolves. Not because God gave up on you, because you gave up on the state. And the worst part is that most people do this without realizing it. They call it prudence, being grounded, not getting your hopes up. But on the spiritual plane, this has a different name. It's called betrayal of the new frequency. And every betrayal of the new frequency resets the countdown of your miracle. It's as if you had climbed 8 floors of a 10-step staircase, and by looking back in doubt, you descended all the way back to the ground floor without noticing, and started all over again the next day. That is why some people have been trying to manifest for years and never reap the harvest. It's not because the method doesn't work, it's because they keep resetting themselves. That is why I prepared this powerful digital book for you, and its name, How to Know If You Are Saved at Judgment Day, might have bothered you at first. That discomfort is intentional, not because the work speaks of fear. On the contrary, it reveals the concrete spiritual signs showing that a soul is being chosen, shielded, guided. Signs you have probably been noticing over the last few months and didn't know how to name. The strange repetition of thoughts about your family, about protecting your own. The inexplicable losses of people who suddenly vanished from your path, as if life were pruning around you. These signs are the harbinger of a turning point. The book will give you the key to understand what is happening and what you need to do now so as not to waste this window of opportunity. One reader wrote, saying she finished the book at 4 in the morning, in tears, with a peace she hadn't felt since childhood. The link is at the top of the comments and in the description. This material may be taken down at any moment. Comment Amen below. It is your decree of acceptance. Returning to the central secret. Persistence in the feeling is what separates those who manifest from those who keep complaining that manifestation doesn't work. It is the ability, even in the face of physical evidence that contradicts the desired, to continue dwelling in the state of the wish fulfilled. Mystics call this operative faith. Psychology calls this advanced emotional regulation. Neville called this the feeling is the secret, and it is exactly where Archangel Michael acts. Because every time you hold on to the new frequency, even when the world screams the opposite, you are practicing a spiritual act of courage, and it is in these invisible acts that the sword of light of the celestial warrior ignites. He does not admire those who pray aloud. He admires those who hold the right feeling even when no one saw, even when no one applauded, even when the bill arrived, even when the expected call did not come. This is the faith that moves mountains. This is the faith that opens paths. This is the faith that heaven recognizes. There is scientific proof of this, and I need to show you so you understand this is not loose mysticism. The HeartMath Institute in California has measured for decades the electromagnetic field generated by the human heart, and they discovered something that shakes any skepticism. The electromagnetic field of the heart is up to 5,000 times stronger than that of the brain and can be detected up to 3 meters away from the body. And most importantly, this field changes its signature according to the dominant feeling you cultivate. When you feel fear, anger, scarcity, the field enters a chaotic, incoherent pattern. When you feel gratitude, love, certainty, the field enters a coherent, harmonic pattern. And the universe, according to the law of assumption, responds to this signature like a mirror. You do not receive what you ask for, you receive what you emit. And what you emit is not words, it is emotional heart frequency. When the ancient mystics said that the heart is the throne of God, they were not speaking metaphorically. They were describing without modern vocabulary exactly this phenomenon. The heart is the antenna, the feeling is the signal, and life is the echo. Now I need to show you the nightly reprogramming technique I promised at the beginning, because it is at night that the game is decided. The subconscious is most receptive in the last 15 minutes before you fall asleep, and in the first 15 minutes after waking up. These 2 portals are sacred. This is where Archangel Michael lands. This is where your programming is imprinted or rewritten. And this is where most people throw away the opportunity, because most go to sleep scrolling through their phones, watching the news, comparing lives on Instagram, feeding the subconscious with scenes of scarcity, tragedy, envy, and comparison. And they wake up the same way. 15 minutes watching the chaos of the world before sleep. 15 minutes watching the chaos of the world upon waking. You are, without realizing it, programming 30 minutes a day of the worst possible frequency directly into your subconscious. And then you wonder why your life doesn't change. The technique is simple and brutally effective. 15 minutes before going to sleep, you turn everything off. Screens, bright lights, heavy conversations. You lie down, take 3 deep breaths, and enter a state of deep relaxation. Muscles loose, breathing slow. And then you mentally construct a single scene, a short, vivid, sensory scene. The scene after the miracle, the bridge of incidents. You smell the environment, hear the voices, feel the temperature on your skin, see small details that make the scene indisputable. And you step inside it. Do not watch from the outside. Live it from within. You feel as if it has already happened, and you fall asleep within that scene. You fall asleep within that new I am. And while you sleep, your subconscious rewrites your internal programming. The electromagnetic field of the heart realigns. The material world begins to reorganize itself to receive the new version of you. Whoever does this for 21 consecutive days feels a noticeable turning point. Whoever does this for 90 days changes their life. It is not an exaggeration, it is the law, it is the spiritual engineering of fulfilled desire. And it is in these 90 days that Archangel Michael positions himself by your side like never before. Because you are doing your part. You are honoring the pact. You are sustaining the frequency. And heaven always responds to those who sustain. There is one thing I need to warn you about in this process. Proof will appear, tests will appear. That which seems to be the confirmation that the method does not work will appear. It is exactly at this moment that many give up. And it is exactly at this moment that masters deepen the feeling. Because the universe tests if you are firm in the new state before delivering the miracle. Think of a woman who decrees that she is loved. Before true love arrives, an ex will appear trying to come back, a weak suitor. A confusing situation that tries to knock you off balance. If you give in and enter into old neediness, the miracle moves away. If you sustain the state of already being fully loved, the universe must deliver the true version. Think of a man who decrees prosperity. Before prosperity arrives, an unexpected bill will appear, a bad offer, a fight at home over money. If he gives in and enters into panic, the manifestation dissolves. If he sustains the feeling of guaranteed provision, the path opens. This is the test of the bridge. This is the warrior's test. And that is why Archangel Michael admires you. Because you are being tested, and even tired, you are still here watching, still here searching, still here believing that there is a way. This weariness is sacred. This weariness is the eve of the dawn. And there is yet another layer of testing that no one warns you about, the test of people. When you begin to sustain a higher frequency, the people around you feel it, not consciously, energetically, and some will try to pull you back. They will make cutting remarks about your new faith. They will doubt the changes you are trying to make. They will say things like, "You've always been this way, now you've decided to change. You'll see, this will pass." These comments are low-frequency bombs thrown directly into your field, and if you are not conscious, you absorb them. You doubt. You regress. That is why the masters teach that in the beginning of reprogramming, you must protect your state of consciousness as if it were a newly lit flame. You do not tell your plans. You do not share your process with those who lack spiritual maturity. You keep it in silence, and you only speak when the result is already visible. This sacred silence is one of the most powerful ways to honor your transformation. Now let us go to the final layer, the revelation that very few masters teach directly, because it requires spiritual maturity to be received without distortion. You are not here to conquer things. You are here to become who you have always been behind the layers. Every true manifestation is, at its core, an act of remembrance. You remember who you are, and by remembering, the world reconfigures itself around that remembrance. Money does not come because you conquered it. It comes because you remembered that you have always been a provided-for being. Love does not come because you attracted it. It comes because you remembered that you have always been a loved being. Healing does not come because you deserved it. It comes because you remembered that you have always been an integral being. This is the deepest truth of the law of assumption. You are not building a new self. You are demolishing the illusion of the old self so that the true self may emerge. And the I am that emerges is the same that has always existed, before the wounds, before what you were told, before what you assumed as an identity after so much pain. When you understand this, Archangel Michael is no longer someone you invoke from the outside. He is a frequency that ignites within you. The courage. The sword of light is your ability to cut through the lie of the old self. And every time you cut that lie, even in a small decision, even in a sustained thought, even on a night when you chose to fall asleep in the new state, you are wielding the sword. You are being the warrior. You are being the angel, incarnated in the physical plane. And that is why he admires you, because he sees what few see. He sees who you are becoming. The fourth dimension is the place where this remembrance happens. It is the state of consciousness where time is not linear, where past, present, and future coexist, where you can enter a scene that has not yet happened physically and feel as if it already has, and by feeling it, bend the material timeline so that it aligns with that scene. Quantum physicists are beginning to grope at this when they talk about superposition of states, the observer collapsing the probability wave, and fields of possibility. The ancient mystics knew this for millennia. It was the key of the prophets, the saints, and the sacred magi. And today, this key is being handed back to ordinary people, to the men and women who have decided to stop outsourcing their spirituality. You are one of them. That is why you are here. But the key comes with a price, and the price is persistence. It is continuing to sustain the feeling even on a bad day. It is continuing to reprogram at night, even when tired. It is continuing to give thanks for what has not yet arrived, even when the evidence says otherwise. It is continuing to inhabit the new I am, even when the external environment screams the name of the old I am. The first 21 days are the hardest. The first 60 are the testing ones. The first 90 are the ones that turn the tide. And those who cross these 90 days with firmness never go back to who they once were. I want you to imagine your life 90 days from now. Imagine your home, the smell of breakfast, the light coming through the window, and you changed, without that tightness in your chest that you wake up with today, without that feeling of defeat that visits you sometimes, with a strange calm, a new firmness, an inner certainty that everything is all right, even when things are still adjusting. Imagine your face in the mirror with that light that only those who have found themselves possess. Imagine the conversations at home being different, the relationships being different, the opportunities arriving from places you didn't expect. Imagine your bank balance with more room to breathe. Imagine your health feeling lighter. Imagine your family protected. Imagine Archangel Michael positioned by your side, sword of light raised, ensuring that nothing that comes your way will knock you off your axis again. This scene is not a fantasy. It is the mold for your next phase. And it only depends on one thing: your decision today to start sustaining the right feeling. It is not tomorrow, it is not on Monday, it is not after the turn of the year. It is today. It is now. It is in this very instant that this narration enters your ears. The inner talk you cultivate in the next 24 hours will tell your subconscious in which direction your life must reorganize itself. If you spend these next 24 hours saying inside your head, "I can't, I am tired, nobody helps me, life is hard," you are literally decreeing another identical week. If you spend these next 24 hours saying, "I am cared for, I am loved, I am provided for, I am guided, I am protected by Archangel Michael," you are literally decreeing a new reality. And this reality will begin to assemble itself immediately, not in months, in hours. The first signs appear within 48 hours. An unexpected message, a clear intuition, a door left ajar, a smile from someone you didn't know. The signs start small, but they accumulate, and in 21 days they have already formed a visible trail. And in 90 days they have already formed a new path in life. You are capable of this. You always were. You just needed to remember. And as you listen to this, I want you to feel. Feel the presence of the celestial warrior behind you. Feel his admiration translating into a wave of warmth in your chest. Feel the recognition. You are seen. You are a soul that is being elevated at this very moment, and it is no accident that you arrived here. There is a plan in motion. There is a turning point being prepared behind the scenes. There are people and opportunities being positioned for you without you even realizing it. Before closing this broadcast, I want to give you one last practical instruction. Every night before going to sleep, you will speak a specific phrase within yourself, not out loud, within, in sacred silence. The phrase is, "I sleep in the victory that is already mine." You will repeat this phrase while feeling your body relaxing. I sleep in the victory that is already mine. I sleep in the victory that is already mine. I sleep in the victory that is already mine. And as you repeat it, you will build the scene following the miracle, the bridge of incidents, and you will fall asleep within it. Do this for 21 days without failing, without giving in to the curiosity of checking if it is working, without anxiety. Just do it, and observe what happens to your days, to your relationships, to your luck, to your body, to your pocket. You will be perplexed, because life begins to move in a way that you can no longer explain by the rational method. This is the territory of Archangel Michael. This is the territory of the operative miracle. That is why I have prepared a powerful digital book for you. How to Know If You Are Saved at Judgment Day is available now via the link pinned at the top of the comments and also in the description of this video. It is not just a book. It is a portal of spiritual reading. It is a practical manual of the law of assumption applied to concrete Brazilian pains, with chapters on how to interpret recurring dreams, how to recognize the real presence of Archangel Michael in your daily life, and how to sign the internal pact that every elevated soul needs to make with itself. This material may be taken down soon. Those who are called, answer now. Comment Amen below if you recognize this call, if you feel that this narration was made for you. I will read every comment, I will pray for every name, because every soul that arrived here today arrived for a reason. May you remember tonight as you lie down, you are loved, you are guided, you are provided for, you are protected, you are the victory that is already yours. Archangel Michael is by your side, and he admires you. I am, and so it is. Amen.